We're talking today about protecting what matters most. Now, what is that to you? Is that your phone and computer? Is it a person or relationship? Is it your savings account or your wallet, a house, a car? What is that? Well, as we think about the human body, God gave us a rib cage. He gave us that rib cage to protect what matters most, our lungs, our heart. And it is there to protect the most essential organs to our life. And if you've ever cracked or broken a rib, oh my word, that is a painful experience, but so thankful we have that because in turn, something could be damaged that could kill us, take our life away from us. Now, as the Bible refers to the heart of man, the vast majority of the times it's not speaking about the muscle that beats and pumps blood through our chest, has electricity running through it. No, it's talking about the innermost being of man. It's the part of man that you cannot put under a microscope to inspect. You cannot dissect it. Science and scientists cannot replicate it or reproduce it with chemicals. It's that innermost part of man where our thoughts, our intent lie. And we're endowed with it from our Creator. God gave that to us because we're created in the image of God. And that just ever so strongly points to the fact that we are created with intelligent design. Now, you and I as believers understand that is the God of the Bible, the Creator God. But it just speaks so strongly to that aspect. We read here in Proverbs as Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, wrote practical truths back to his son and also to us. He says here in verse 23, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Put away from thee a froward mouth and perverse lips put far from thee. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. Turn not to the right hand nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil." And so the main command here is to keep thy heart with all diligence. And then he goes down to give us some very practical, applicable ways that you and I can do that. And we're going to look at those in some upcoming episodes. But here we're going to begin with the command to keep our heart. And the idea there is to guard it, to protect it, to put it in prison or keep custody over it. That's what that word keep means. You can think about someone in custody by the authorities. They have guards that are watching their every move. Someone who is in prison is there. They're in a place of confinement. They can't come and go as they will. There is someone watching their every move. And so this place is monitoring them from going out and also monitoring them from coming in. If you've ever visited someone in prison, you would know that you have to be scanned in. They search you. They want to know who you are because they're monitoring who and what is coming in. And just the same, you and I need to do that with our heart. We need to guard it. We need to put it in confinement. We need to guard it. We need to put it in custody. And we also need to monitor, just as that prison system would, monitor what's coming out, yes, but also monitor what's coming in. If any type of contraband is coming into a prison, they're going to stop it. They're going to keep it from going in. And we need to do the same with our heart, protect it just like a prison would a person that is there in prison. And so why is it so important to guard your heart? This is a powerful command here. We're going to give you just a few thoughts about why it's important to guard our heart. The first one is this: you have a bad heart. I know that's hard for you to believe, but it's true. And I don't mean you have a heart that's maybe struggling or you have some type of heart failure or something like that. I'm talking about you have a bad heart. Jeremiah 17:9 said this: "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?" You see, because of our sin, our heart is prone to do this. It's prone to go towards the wicked. It's prone to lead towards sin. And our heart has the power to deceive us. Think about that. Our heart essentially is a con artist trying to deceive us in following the flesh, and it can do a very good job. But you and I need to recognize, in order to guard our heart, we need to recognize that we have a bad heart. And remember, we're talking about that innermost part of ourselves, where our thoughts lie, where our just the innermost being of us, where we contemplate, we think, where our motives come out, where our actions protrude from. Everything comes out of our innermost being, what we do, what we think, what we say, and so forth. And so we have victory in Jesus Christ, thankfully. So yes, you and I have a bad heart, but because Jesus Christ went to the cross, He died, He gave Himself, and He offers us the gift of eternal life through salvation. And if you have accepted that gift, then you have victory over your bad heart, or victory over the flesh. In Galatians, Paul talks about this: the flesh and the spirit are contrary one to the other. One lusteth against one, and the other lusteth against the other. They are in complete opposition one to the other. So you and I are born with the flesh. Our spirit is dead. And because of that, our heart is desperately wicked. And it says, who can even know it? And because of that, you and I need something to help us to get the victory over the flesh. And the Holy Spirit is given to us at salvation. And so you and I have the ability to overcome the bad heart. But this is why it is also vitally, vitally important that you and I protect our heart. So first of all, yes, we do have a bad heart. But second of all, the heart is a source of everything else. You see, it says here in our passage, out of it are the issues of life. You see, everything else springs out of our heart. If water is found to be polluted in a river or a stream, what do? They go back upstream and they find the source of where the pollution is coming in. In order to clean that water, they have to take care of that source. And so the idea is our heart, the innermost being, is the fountain or the spring that everything else in our life comes from. And Jesus referred to this in Mark chapter 7, verse 18. He spoke about the heart. He said this. He said, and he saith unto them, are you without understanding also? Do you not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him? Because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the draught, purging all meats. And he said, that which cometh out of man, that defileth him. From within, out of the heart, listen to this, of men proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornication, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within, and they are what defile a man. So Jesus teaches that the heart is this. It's the source of all our thoughts, of all our actions, and the intents. And so you and I must guard, protect, keep in custody, chain up our heart and protect what's coming into it. Because if we allow certain things in, guess what? Certain things are going to come out. And so, yes, we have a bad heart. Our heart is the source or the fountain, the spring of everything else in our life. And then lastly, an unprotected heart can lead to a broken life. Now, I've witnessed good people who have allowed the guard of their heart to come down. And I've seen good people, and it's heartbreaking, but I've seen the destruction that brings to their life. I've seen broken marriages because of this. I've seen destroyed testimonies. I've seen broken and ruined influence. I've seen hurt families, hurt friends. And it's always this. It's always a slow fade. It's always that person that is, you see doing good, that they're living the Christian life, they're following Jesus, and then all of a sudden, somewhere they decided to just let the guard down a little bit. And because a little bit's coming in, a little bit of contraband's coming through, and it's not being scanned, it's not being caught, more comes through. And then guess what it does to that wicked and deceitful heart? That heart begins to trick us and to tell us, yes, this is good. This is what you really want. Why? Because we have a bad heart, remember? And because we have a bad heart and we're allowing the contraband in and our heart's getting tainted and our flesh is taking over, it's winning the victory over the spirit, then guess what? Everything begins to come out. Remember that list that Jesus gave of the evil eye, the pride, and all these things? These actions have to come out because of what's on the inside. But it's always a slow fade. And when we let our guard down even just a little bit, it's so very dangerous. You see, we're no different than those people. Maybe you've encountered someone or people around you, maybe in family, in your church, or maybe it was you who let your guard down. Thankfully, there's forgiveness in Jesus Christ. There's the Christian life is the life of new beginnings. And so we don't have to live there and let our past mistakes rule our future. We can move on and rebuild again, but we need to make sure and ensure we're protecting and guarding our heart. He tells us we need to be diligent about it. Think about that word diligent. It means we're constantly doing. We're constantly thinking about it. We're consistent with it. So we're doing this. We're constantly standing guard of our heart, what we're allowing in. We're constantly scanning all that is trying to come in and saying, oh, this is contraband. I don't need this. I need to remove this. Or we're constantly scanning what is coming out. Because if we have certain actions coming out, then that's a root issue, or it's a definite realization there's something negative going on the inside. I remember watching Facing the Giants, and there's a scene there where he's basically emphasizing that his heart is bad, and he goes over and he sniffs his chest, and he's basically essentially saying, hey, your heart's not right because I see what's coming out. You need to get your heart right. And so the outward evidences are always an indicator of inward problems. So what is it that is working so hard right now to draw your attention away? What is it that's working so hard to break in and try to get that contraband into your life and into your heart? Identify it and then remove it. Stop it. What area have you let your guard down? Maybe just a little bit. Maybe this is just a little bit of a wake-up call. You need to stop. I need to stop. I need to realize, hey, it is so vitally important that I protect my heart. Because yes, my heart is bad. It will lead me astray. And because it's bad and it will lead me astray and I let things in there wrong, it'll come out in my life. And then I can end up with a broken life or a broken testimony or broken influence or whatever. So don't go another day without getting your guard back up.